I'm First Alert meteorologist Chrissy Kohler with you here at 5 o'clock on your Sunday morning. And here's the good news is that so far we haven't seen any severe weather across our area. This is what we always hope for. That worst case scenario where we want you to be prepared for the worst case, but then we end up with a lot better weather and nothing severe. So as of right now, we have made it through these last couple of hours with no severe warnings, and it's possible we continue this trend as the atmosphere continues to stabilize as the system rolls through the area. The good news is, again, we really don't have anything going on that's of concern, but we do have a lot of lightning, so some of you may be up a little earlier with us here than you would normally be because of that loud thunder and the heavy rain coming through as well. As you take a look at the radar, you can see we've got a pretty nice batch of rain that's working its way through, and boy, do we need the rain. So this is actually some good news there. We could still see some localized flooding in some areas. That's certainly not out of the question here, especially because of how quickly some of it is coming down. It has been fairly dry recently, so a lot of that's going to get absorbed. It's just if it doesn't get absorbed fast enough, you could see some minor issues there, but I don't expect it to be a widespread issue. As we take a look across the upstate, you can see we've got some of the heaviest rain right now stretching from Spartanburg up to Fingerville, out to Highlands, down towards Greenville, Easley, West Pelzer, as well as Fountain Inn. And we got a nice little batch of lightning as well around Spartanburg and down towards Fountain Inn. I was just looking at our tower cam here out of the corner of my eye, and we're getting some of those lightning strikes still in Greenville County as well. Patrick pulling that up for me right there, and we just I did just see a lightning strike there. You can see, of course, that rain right there over I-85 where it meets up with Pelham Road. So that is certainly still something to be aware of. I wouldn't want to be outside in this because it's still some pretty nasty weather, but if you're in the car, you should be okay headed out and about. Stretching down this line of thunderstorms, you've got some of that lightning stretching down into places like Princeton, down towards due west into Greenwood. You're hearing that thunder, some heavy rain stretching back towards Anderson, and then down towards the Calhoun Falls area. Just starting to get underway in places like Kirksey, out towards Lawrence. You're probably starting to hear the lightning as it's getting a little bit closer, and then Cross Anchor out towards Surratt into Gaffney as well. Gaffney's starting to pick up with some of those rain rates. And then back to the west, Pickens starting to lighten up for you. You're actually seeing those rain rates start to come down a little bit, as well as out towards Clemson, where you had some good lightning come through your area about an hour ago or so. Hartwell starting to dry out. In fact, a lot of our northeast Georgia areas through Franklin, Stevens County, even into Hart County, starting to clear out. We still got some decent rain rates down in towards Elberton, as well as Coldwater, but Sandy Cross dry for the moment, and it looks like that trend's going to continue for you. I have been watching this line that's working its way through Macon and Jackson counties there into North Carolina, down into Rabun County as well. This one has a little more intensity than some of the stuff coming in beforehand, but haven't seen any rotation on it. It's been capable of producing some 40-mile-per-hour winds, but nothing to severe level. So at this point, we're just going to keep a close eye on that. Speaking, though, of some of those power outages, we have received reports of over 15,000 power outages across the Carolinas, a lot of those in North Carolina. So even though we haven't had severe level winds, we've still seen some of that wind issues there. As we take a look up into North Carolina, drying out into places like Bryson City, back towards Franklin as well, starting to dry out there for you as that last scan of the radar shows you clearing out. Cullowhee out towards Cashers, though, still getting some decent rain. Out to Rosman, into Brevard, as well as Hendersonville, Hoopers Creek, up towards Waynesville, Cataloochee. Seeing that steady rain. Some of the heaviest rain right now in the mountains, though, is moving through Polk and Rutherford County up towards McDowell County as well. Marion down towards Forest City and into Columbus, although not really seeing much in the way of lightning in the mountains right now. It's just some heavier rain and then lightens up on the backside of that. So this is continuing to trek to the east here as we put this into motion for you. You can see that we definitely are, again, on the more stable side of things, because as I zoom this out for you, we actually have a batch of some severe weather further to our south. So if you've got travel plans this morning that take you down towards the Athens area, around I-20, Augusta, Georgia, getting some of those severe thunderstorm warnings, and those stretch down from between I-20 down towards I-16 in the Georgia area. So they are getting some of that. That's going to cross over into Aiken County here in just a little while, that batch of severe thunderstorm warnings. I haven't seen any tornado warnings on that particular line in the last hour hour. We did have a tornado warning earlier around Eatonton, but that has now expired quite a while ago. But still some gusty winds. So travel along I-20 right now is going to be a little dicey as if you're traveling down towards the Midlands. So again, we have no severe watches in place. We don't have a tornado watch. We do not have a severe thunderstorm watch. So that's some good news there, indicating that more stable air that has really taken over and helped to keep that threat level low for us. Again, this is what we want to see. Yes, we prepared you for the worst. The good news is it did not come through. And so therefore, we are starting to lower the threat. However, until this completely gets out of here, we're not completely out of the woods. Still can't completely rule out some damaging straight line winds and even an isolated tornado, not completely out of the question. Is it likely? At this point, it's definitely not the most likely scenario, but it's still not completely off the table. So until we get to that 0% mark, we really don't want to give you that all clear, just in case something tries to spin up there. Now, heavy rain is going to continue to be a concern over the next couple of hours, especially with that kind of batch that's rolling through the upstate right now, Spartanburg, Greenville, down into the Greenwood area. That batch of rain could still produce some localized flooding. So that's certainly a concern. Isolated hail not completely off the table either. Here's a look at your future track. We've got the worst of it still coming through in the next couple of hours. Notice though, by the time we get to about 6 o'clock this morning, we're clearing out of the Greenville area, seeing it out towards places like Union, into Lawrence, down towards Greenwood, and more spotty in nature showers into the mountains as well, really starting to come down there. By the time we get to 8 o'clock, this is pretty much done. So between 7 and 8 o'clock, that's when we're going to give you that all clear. So once this batch gets out of here and shifts out towards the Charlotte area, that I-77 corridor down towards Columbia, that's when we can say, all right, we're out of the woods, we're looking good. I do think there's a possibility we're going to see a couple of spotty showers on and off through the rest of the day, but I'm not concerned about those producing severe weather. Those would just be some scattered showers, mainly into the mountains as we head towards about 12 o'clock this afternoon, and then continue and isolated through about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then from there, we're drying out. So that's the good news there. Again, we're right here for you all morning long. The First Alert Weather Team keeping you up to date. We'll be with you, of course, on that First Alert Weather app. If you don't already have it downloaded onto your phone, one way you can do that is by scanning this QR code right here on your screen. We've been sending out those video updates throughout the morning, and it may have even woken you up this morning to tell you that, hey, there's some lightning near your area or some heavy rain. I know it talks to you, and we'll let you know if you've got those location services.